DarkNest. I'm your host, TDN, the designated bird boy, as the Raven dreams, as the Raven dreams. Hello, and welcome to the DarkNest podcast. I'm your host, TDN, and today I'm joined by my best friend, the creator of the Nevermore Collective, and our designated bird boy as the Raven dreams.
Hello.
The most delayed reaction on planet Earth.
Do you want to know the weirdest thing?
What's up?
I was listening to the live stream
Yeah.
because I wanted to make sure it was working.
Mm-hmm.
And I swear I heard you say, I'm TDN, the host, on the live stream before you said it.
That's why I told you to listen like a couple of days ago to the new version.
Dropping F-bombs in the first minute. Love it, dude.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I don't care. I don't give a shit.
I mean, we're not monetized.
No.
I'll stop when we're
monetized.
I
I should have listened to it whenever you sent it to me, admittedly, because you know me, I didn't.
Yeah.
Because I trust you. But now that you've said that, I outed myself as being that kind of person. So
yeah. Well, it's okay. What did you think, though? Like what you
It was
heard?
good. That was
Cool,
awesome,
right?
Yeah, no, it's legit.
I was very happy with that. It's just like an excerpt from like one of our old episodes. I just took like, I'm your host TDN. I'm like
And I'm joined by the resident bird boy. You've what have you called me over the how many episodes did we do?
I said designated bird boy in that clip, and that's what I'm sticking with.
Okay,
I said it here too.
because you called me. You've said like so many things to introduce me into the show.
But what I did was I went on the last probably like 8 episodes or something like that, and I said designated bird boy every time, so I'm just bringing that back.
I can dig it.
Well, welcome back to the
Hey, I'm
podcast.
glad to be here. Thank you. Oh wait, you're talking to them.
It's everybody. It's you too. It's me. I'm telling welcome back to myself, because this is a project that we both started from nothing, and it quickly became very popular amongst the horror community, and then we just never did it again.
And then everyone stole the idea. And
I don't think everybody stole it.
I'm joking. I was joking.
It's a podcast.
We're the most original. Joe Rogan ain't got shit on us.
Joe Rogan ain't got shit on us. All right. Nobody ain't got shit on us. So yeah, we left probably over a year ago at this point, I think. It feels like way longer than that, but I checked it. It's like May of last year.
So it's a year and 2 months.
It does not feel like it feels like 2 years at least since we've done this, because it just feels so long ago.
Yeah.
But why'd we leave? Honestly, bunch of reasons. 99% my fault though.
I'd go a little higher than that.
Oh yeah, it's 100% my fault. Because I was the one who made started the podcast, created the whole thing, and asked Raven to come on with me. And then I had my own issues behind the scenes, and then I just kept saying it'll happen. And then it stopped happening less and less until I just messaged Raven one day, and I was just like, I can't fucking do it anymore. I have to focus on me, because it's one extra thing that I have to worry about every week.
Right.
And I just couldn't do it anymore.
So here's the thing. Here's the truth from my perspective. We started this on a whim. Excuse me. I do apologize. And like I told you, my voice is still fried. I don't know what the hell's going on. I was fine yesterday. Huh? No, I was just saying. I'm just saying, like yesterday I was fine. Today I'm like, where's my voice? Kind of need that to make money nowadays.
That's true. Yeah, me too.
Anyways, so like we did this. We started on a whim, and then we went out there and we're like, hey, let's keep this going. We took a short break, came back for a season 2-ish kind of thing.
Yeah, it was like season
Which,
2, 6 episodes in, and then stopped.
mhm,
It had 2
right.
graphic design iterations.
They were both amazing though.
No, the gray one sucks. I look back on it and I was very upset with that. Gray one.
Let me compliment you, you son of a
The,
bitch.
no,
Anyways,
the first one and the last one were great. We had a cool thing, but
right.
that gray one was just really dumb.
But so the second time around, there was a lot that went on both sides. You had a lot of issues going on, like you said. I will say that absolutely. But at the same time, I was the person that always told you, hey, man, don't push yourself for this podcast. Do what you need to do first. Take care of yourself. That was always my, thing. I'm not going to sit there and say, hey, we need to do a show because it hasn't happened in 2 weeks. I'm like, hey, dude, if you're not up for it, then don't.
Well, at first I had to like convince you anyway that this was like a thing you should do, and I didn't have a real reason as to why.
I don't socialize well.
I think you came out of your shell a lot more since we started the original version, not just because of the podcast, but just because you got more comfortable just being you. Because for people who don't know, like Raven on like a narration side of things as a YouTuber is seems like a very reserved person, and then
Mhm.
you actually talk to him and you're like, oh, he's like me. I just don't hold it back,
Mhm.
like publicly. But
Right. I am a very reserved person publicly.
yeah,
Like whenever it comes to talking to like people that comment on my channel, people that approach me, like messaging me on Twitter, Instagram, whatever. I don't. I'm a very polite person, very reserved and very like respectful. But as people do get to know me, like you've said, and as things have happened, like over the year, 2 years, I've known you, and on my Sunday morning live streams where I've gotten more comfortable with that audience, I do tend to be a little more outward. But that said, I am very much an introvert. So
yeah.
that's just who I am.
But it was mostly me. It was pretty much all me. I couldn't do it the same. I wrote something in the description, basically like it existed at a time where I don't think it could have thrived anyway.
Mhm.
Because I mean, you were growing, I was on my way out of the whole
Yeah,
YouTube narration thing.
it,
I
w-
didn't
it
know
was
what I
kind of
wanted to
weird.
do.
It was kind of weird, yeah, because I was devoting 100% of my time to it, and you were pulling away from it. So it was kind of
Yeah,
like we were doing we were like balancing the scales, and it became weird.
yeah.
Well, not really became weird, but like it
I
became
was
stressful.
leaving the horror community as a whole. I mean, probably before the podcast even started, I was just like thinking about it
Mhm.
constantly. And I guess I used the podcast as like a way to stay in it instead of like trying
Mhm.
to narrate all the time. I can use the podcast to be like, hey, this is a horror community podcast. Here's some horror narrators. Like, I'm still in it. And then just throw out a shitty fucking narration, like maybe once or twice every 3 weeks, and just see if that keeps me grounded in whatever this is. But I was, it was a lie. It was 100% a lie. I mean, I enjoyed the shit out of the podcast, and my last year on my channel was the most memorable thing I ever did was the podcast. It was probably the thing that stuck with me the most. And I've been
Right.
thinking about it ever since it ended. And I've been wanting to bring it back ever since it ended. But I didn't think I was in the right place mentally and work wise, time wise, to be able to even tackle something like this, because it is a week podcast. It's a weekly podcast, and you have to set aside that time. And I
Right.
could only do it on weekends because that's when I was off. And then I would get up I would have Saturday and Sunday off, and then we would do it on a Sunday. I would have one day to recoup, and then Sunday I had to do thumbnails and then the podcast. And I was just like, I just want to fucking sleep. I'm so tired. And then I would have to fall asleep like 2 hours after the podcast. And sometimes we would talk for like an hour after the podcast, and I would just be extra tired. And then I would have to go to bed, wake up at 8 in the morning, go to work, do that all week, and then I would have like one day to actually relax. And I think that's what fucking killed me.
Yeah.
Yeah. But why is it back? Why did we bring it back at all? I mean, we could have just left it dead, right? Was there any hype for it? Probably not. For me, it was. I was very excited. I've been excited. I literally been waiting all day for this to start.
Well, whenever you put it that way, you should probably just end the show and go to bed. I'm joking. Why is it back? Because you and I haven't spent enough time together, you son of a bitch.
That's true.
And I want my TDN back.
I mean, he's not wrong. Like the last year or in 2 months that it's been off is like been the least amount of time that I've ever actually talked to Raven.
I know, and every time I'm like message you, I'm like, hey man, can we get on a call real quick so I can get this Photoshop shit done? I need your help on something.
I'm so excited every time you do that. I set aside time.
It turned into a 4-hour long call.
I set aside so much time.
Right.
Like I'll have to do something right when you ask, or I just woke up, or I stayed up too late, and like I'm trying to get through the day because I'm trying to fix my sleep schedule. And you're just like, hey, you want to get in for a couple minutes? I'm like, I want to talk to you all day.
Yeah.
We've had like full on podcast length conversations.
Dude, like 3 times in the past 6 months.
6 months, probably in the last month, I think this has happened.
Sure. Because like that's what happened the other day. I was like, hey dude, I need help trying to cut these people out of these pictures. Like I need to watch you do it so I know what I'm doing.
Spent 3 hours.
Right. And then the last time before that, it was like, hey man, I just want to watch you make a thumbnail real quick because I need help like understanding it.
Making a thumbnail. No, sorry, like a quarter of it was making a thumbnail. And like
the other 3 hours was
just talking. It's the same thing when you invited me on that live stream the first time.
Right. It went on for 4.5 hours.
An hour. You were only supposed to have me on for like a little bit. And then I was supposed to just dip out. And then we talked for like 4.5 hours. And at that point, I think that was like your longest stream.
I think it still is.
Is that where the coffee streams came from? Because I don't think you were doing it.
No, that was whenever I was starting to do like the live stream stuff. Yeah. And then not long after I turned it into a morning stream, which I haven't done those in a while. I got to start them up again this month, but like I didn't want to do it on Sunday, the day before the 4th, because the holiday. I was like, I'm going to be stressed out socializing on Monday. I don't want to do anything on Sunday. So,
do you remember how mad you got at me on that live stream?
Which one?
The 4.5 hour live stream with the I said the wrong thing. I meant well, and I meant it was like a networking thing. I can't remember exactly what it was.
Oh,
and I was trying to explain to you, like, I definitely had the right information in my head, but I said the wrong thing, and I didn't realize I said the wrong thing, and I was arguing with you over it.
Oh, yeah, because you were trying to argue with me the difference between
something with time zones.
Time zones and ping and latency.
I meant ping, and I said time zones, and I was really fucking upset with myself afterwards. I did apologize afterwards.
You did. I wasn't like mad at you. I'm just like, no, you're wrong, but that's okay.
It was the way you came about it. It was the way you like retaliated. I was like, oh, I definitely pushed a button. Because he's a network. He was a network person. Like he did all. I went
to school for 6 years for IT shit. Like 2 of them was networking, the other 4 was cybersecurity, and that shit. But like, you were. Just, I mean, it was like the latency in the stream. You were like, oh, she's in the same time zone as you, so she sees it first. I'm like, that is incorrect. And you're like, no, it's the time zone. She's in the time zone, so she'll see chat first. I'm like, that's not how it works.
What I meant was like
latency.
I meant pinging. I meant like she's probably pinging off the same thing as you. I don't know.
You
how
meant the connection
work.
latency.
I don't
it was
know how
slowed down.
You're in like Kansas, right?
Mm-hmm.
She's in Texas. Would it ping off the same thing?
It depends on the servers. If YouTube only has like Midwest servers, like odds are Google probably has several servers per time zone.
For some reason, I forgot that's what the actual argument was about. It was about YouTube, and I thought for some reason thought like internet, and I'm like, I don't think she would have to ping off of Kansas.
It was because your girlfriend was seeing the chat messages before you were.
Right.
So you're like, oh, it's because she's in the same time zone. And I'm like, that is
Yeah,
not
it's
how
got to
that
be a
works, buddy.
Midwest like YouTube server or something.
Sure. So like the latency for you is going to be higher versus the latency for me. Like, or, you know what I mean? Like, not necessarily in that exact situation, but that, so she may see it first and then you'll see it a couple like milliseconds later because the server connection. But it was just, and now we have a Discord server, and you make me mad by telling me the wrong tech stuff. Oh, he walked away.
People started
So now
popping
this
off
is my show.
fireworks. So I had to close my windows, make sure I can at least muffle it somewhat. These live versions are going to be like the rough stuff, and then like the podcast actual versions, like edited, would be on the actual podcast websites. So,
oh, you're actually going to clean this up?
I'm going to try. Yeah, I have
Why?
way more time on my hands. That's the real reason the podcast is back. Like I'm self-employed now. So I have so much more time to actually just dedicate to projects I want. I can just make Tuesday a do nothing day until the podcast.
That's fair.
So that's pretty much why the podcast has returned. And there's probably going to be people who listen to this on Nevermore who have never heard of the podcast, which this is really, why is it on Nevermore and not TDN? TDN's a dead channel.
Let's segue into that topic.
TDN's a dead channel. It's a project that I did for 3.5 years, and it just stopped working for me. And
right,
I'm not going to put a podcast that I want to thrive on a channel that can't. I just don't think it's possible on a channel I definitely abandoned, and it's not just for the people, it's also for me. If I put something on a dead channel, it just feels like it doesn't mean anything.
I get that. I can absolutely get that. Yeah, that makes complete and total sense. Plus, I mean, you know what? We have one show that just temporarily ended over here on this channel, so now is a good time for a new one to pop up. So
I just feel like Nevermore has a lot of potential. So I want to try something that's not technically mine, and I want to put my creativity into it to see if I can help it, but also help it help me, type thing.
Right.
Because I have a lot of creative venues now. I mean, I make thumbnails for my main part of my income that pays my bills, and my pocket money is like audiobook stuff, and I never want to do one thing. I got the music, I got the graphic design, I got the audiobooks, so narration. I always wanted to be a podcaster. So, and I think Nevermore was just the perfect place. I mean, it's ultimately a podcast channel. I mean, I know that's probably not what like you thought it would be when you started it, but at this point in time, it's a podcast channel. There's a lot of podcasts, there's a lot of interview stuff, so might as well just throw one more in there.
Well, okay. Well, for one, let me correct you on something. This is not just one more in there. The 2 interview shows we have are interview shows by the hosts. And they are structured in such that the hosts are the interviewers and there's interviewees, and it's very, very that back and forth. You've straight said that that's not the intention of this show.
No, it's not.
The show is going to be more banter based, which is perfect because that's exactly what it always turned out being whenever we did a show.
Yeah, we tried to make it like semi organized, and try to push it off as like, yeah, we're organized until we start talking, and I'm like, but that's just chaotic, so might as well just say it's chaotic.
Right. But so then we had Swamp on, and it was like, hey, let's just not like interview people anymore. Let's just talk.
Yeah. I mean, there will be times where like maybe we'll have a big person on that I never talked to, and I want to ask them what their process is.
Sure.
But largely, I'm not going to sit here for an hour trying to figure out fucking questions they've asked 1,000 times. Because these people that come on these channels, like, I was talking to Southern Cannibal about it a couple nights ago, because we were talking about Deadline, a podcast I used to do a while back.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure we had him on, and he was like, it was cool because we had him on, and I think that was one of the first times that I talked to my co-host, and I was like, listen, maybe with this guy we shouldn't, because at the time I think I just met Canny, and I was like, maybe we shouldn't interview him. And he's like, well, what do you mean? He's bigger. We should probably interview him. I was like, yeah, but what are you going to ask him? Tell me what you have written down. And he's like, well, how'd you get started? I'm like, so all the shit that he already asked,
Right.
someone's already asked him, you're going to ask him again, and it's going to throw off his whole vibe. He's going to be bored the whole fucking time, and he's not going to give us anything.
Right. It's
So
not going to be a genuine interview. It's just going to be,
why not
yep.
just casually talk to him, shoot the shit, and if you think of a question you think no one has ever asked off the top of your head, throw it out there. But if you don't think of anything and it lasts an hour of just casually talking to him, cool. Because these type of people have a lot of fans, and they want to hear their not role model, but like they're fans of the person, so they want something
Right.
to connect to. They can't connect to a questionnaire. They connect to a person who's just casually talking like them. That's how you get the audience to connect to the person, the creator.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely. No, and that's
yeah.
and I think that's honestly why whenever I like on my channel, whenever I do my live streams, I don't do live recordings. I don't do live things where I talk about my channel. I just come on to chat with people because it is more about that personal level connection.
Right.
Because you're not, like you said, whenever we had Let's Read on, we didn't ask him like, oh, what kind of stories do you like to do? How did you get your channel name? We didn't ask stupid shit like that because it was Joel. We all know how he got his name. It's Let's Read. Come on.
Yeah, I think the only questions I remember asking him was just like, what do you think how do you think your process differs as a bigger narrator? Like, what's the obstacle of being a bigger narrator and having to narrate? What is your how does your process, do you think, differs from a smaller one?
Right. Well,
Like,
I think we
you
also asked him
gathering
like his
stories
thoughts on
and
the
them
future
gathering
of
stories
YouTube.
and you recording and them recording. Like, what is is there pressure?
Right.
But then
But
you
like,
have
I
like
think we asked him like,
other things who would have Let's Read on, and it'd be like, what's your favorite story you've ever done?
yeah, let's ask Joel, who's been doing this for what, 7
Let's
years,
ask
3
Joel, who
videos a
has at
week.
least 40 stories in one video, what his favorite fucking story is. He probably can't even remember what he had for breakfast this morning, that poor guy.
Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. Do you think I remember every story I did last week?
No.
Right. I do 3 videos a week myself. Do you think I remember what I put in last Monday's video? No, I really don't. I'm sure they were good because I read them and I didn't like get halfway through them and think, wow, I'm not putting this in the video.
Dude, I think that's why I had to stop narrating, was because the way I went about it was so stupid. I wouldn't pre-read anything. I would read the beginning and the end and the title and be like, it's probably fine. And then I would get halfway through. I'm like, wow, the ending was good, but how the fuck did they get there? Like, it's so bad. I would do that every time, and I would get so fucking frustrated.
I am guilty of that, as you know.
I don't pre-read at all, and I think I keep telling people, like, it's cool because you get to a certain part and you get scared, so you start reading scared, like in a scary tone, because you're now like, oh, this is actually creepy. So now you're mimicking what the author or the person in the story how he would be talking or she would be talking if they were telling it. But 9 times out of 10, yeah, that's cool, but try getting through that fucking story if it sucks.
Right.
And you have no idea.
I'm right there with you. I am right there with you in that, and it's like, especially fiction stories, because it's, if you just read the start of it and you're like, all right, cool, and then maybe like read the comments and you're like, all right, cool, the comments are nice, and then my train of thought just derailed entirely. What was I saying?
Felt it happening.
Right, I'm like, because you're like, oh, that's cool, and I'm like, what the fuck was I saying? Who are you?
I don't remember.
Oh God, I've derailed the show. We were doing so good.
It was going pretty well.
No, okay, that's right. So you read the start, you read the end, you read the comments, you think, okay, these people are saying the story is like, oh, this is creepy, this is good. If you don't read the middle and you actually, like, it surprises you as much as it does the listener, that comes through. It is so hard to have surprised and scared and intense emotion come through a narration whenever you already know what happens.
Yeah. I mean, you could force it, and some people can because they're like good at it, like me. But most of the time, it's like, if you don't feel it, then like you can't convey it the same way. You can
That
like
was a
even people
dumb.
who force it, like
Hmm.
it's not as raw as it could have been if they had no idea. I mean, I
Sorry
do
about
it with
the
audiobooks,
goofy ass laugh I did there.
and that is fucking scary because that's like an 8 hour long ordeal. I'm already signed
Hmm.
on for this project, and that's like one thing I hate about doing audiobooks is that you get 2 or 3 pages of an excerpt of the book to audition with, and then you have
Right.
no fucking idea if the rest of the book is going to be boring. And now you have to sit with 10 hours of a book that sucks, and you don't get paid for it until it's over because you're locked in a contract.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing as YouTube. I mean, you don't get paid for your hard work until the end.
Yeah.
But the funny
No, I
part
mean
is at least it's
you.
like it's at least you know what you're getting with an audiobook. Like you already have a pre-notion of like this is my per finished hour rate. With YouTube, it'd be like this is gonna be a great video, and it just tanks. It's your worst video ever, and you get nothing.
Dude, I know you know this, but if I had a nickel for every time I thought a video was going to kick ass and it drops 10 of 10, I'd have several dollars.
I'd have several cents.
I'm not gonna say like I'd be a millionaire because I haven't dropped that many videos, but you get
I
my
would have
point.
several
Like
shekels, for sure.
I would be able to buy some sandwiches.
From the dollar store.
Who buys their sandwiches from the dollar store?
Hey, some people are in a rut, man. Don't judge.
I don't even think Dollar Tree sells like sandwiches, dude.
Dollar Tree sells anything.
They sell a lot of weird shit.
They sell sometimes you go into Dollar Tree. Like I've filled like stockings at Dollar Tree. It's pretty great, actually.
I went.
I sent my girlfriend a stocking one year. I think the first year we were together, I sent her a stocking. Um, and I do it every year. I'll send her a stocking and a couple of gifts that I get her in a box. And I think the first year I went to Dollar Tree, and I was like really surprised on how like good the candy and like chocolate and like all the snacks were. So I just started, and
Mhm.
it's Dollar Tree. And this point, they didn't do inflation at Dollar Tree. It was all $1. So
Right.
I was just throwing candy. I was like, oh, dude, this thing has marshmallow in the middle, and it's covered in chocolate, and has like peanuts on the top. I'm throwing that in there. And then there was like, oh, it's $1 bag of jerky. Probably sucks, but throw it in there. She ended up loving that jerky, and I haven't found it since.
Of course.
And it was like $1 jerky. But I just kept throwing shit in there. I spent $10. The fucking stocking had like 30 things in it. It was crazy. So I can't speak for it now, but like
Right.
if it's still like that, I would recommend going to Dollar Tree during Christmas
sure.
to
No,
fill your stockings because it's awesome.
It's still the same store. It's just that shit's $1.25 now.
I mean,
No, I know. Okay, look.
You know, I can't. It's stupid because most people who shop at Dollar Tree because they can't afford to go to another store.
Right.
So like
Well,
you have people doing their like minimal grocery shopping because they have like a shit paycheck or food stamps, and it's like $30, and they need to get the most out of their buck, and now they have to worry about the fact that they could probably get less now because of it. It adds up. Those 25 cents add up.
right. Well, like so whenever I went to Dollar Tree, the math was always $10 plus 9.75% sales tax. So for every $10, there was an extra, 97 cents. So typically an extra dollar for every 10. So 10% extra.
Yeah.
So like every $20 was $2. Now there's an extra dollar for every 4 items you buy instead of 10. Like it adding that extra quarter doesn't sound like a lot, but it absolutely scraped what you could buy with $20 down a significant amount.
Yeah. I mean,
And Dollar Tree, yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry.
it's. I mean, not just before this whole inflation thing started happening, I went to Walmart with $100 and was actually able to get quite a bit of shit, and then I go back with 150 a couple weeks ago, and it's less than what I could get with 100.
So
Same amount of items.
it's really, really weird because I actually have not noticed the inflation at our Walmart grocery store as much as
It's
other
bad
places.
at ours. It's
Like it
definitely bad
feels
at
like
ours.
like here at least, because unfortunately, the Walmart grocery store is the closest grocery store to us. There's a second one that's Payless Foods, which is great. I like that place too, but for some reason, some of their stuff is like super cheap, and other things are randomly way overpriced for no reason. I guess it's just a balance. But like the Walmart grocery store, I have noticed that it doesn't seem like things there right now by us are getting to be more expensive. It just seems like we're paying the same amount for the same stuff. I believe you that's gotten bad there. It's just weird here that it hasn't.
Maybe it just hasn't reached you. I don't know.
Well, it definitely has in other ways.
Maybe it hasn't reached that part of the region for Walmart.
Maybe.
Because we have a shop right up here, and I mean, yeah, I'm getting less than what I used to, but it's still better than Walmart. I went.
Maybe the Walmart by us was always overcharging, and they're just everything else is matching
it
now.
Don't notice. It's just it's not inflated because it's like, I mean, there's no cap on it, so
right,
it can just keep going. Maybe it's so absurd. It was so absurdly priced that you just don't even notice that it upped itself by $3. It's just like it was already 10. It was 13.
Right,
dude. It really freaked me out because I went to Walmart probably like a month ago with my dad, and I always go to the cookie aisle because I want some snacks. So I'm looking at the cookies, and I always used to get the big chunk Chips Ahoy. Like the double chunk ones, they're so good. And I remember it was like $2.30 or $2.50 for the small pack and like $4 for the big pack. It was like $3.50 for the small and like $6 for the big when I went. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? I have to factor in another $3 out of my budget? Are you kidding me? That's fucking ridiculous. $3 for the same amount of cookies. Like, what the fuck, dude? This is terrible. Anyway, this is...
No, I mean, again, this is our show, dude. This is how it goes. You know that.
I know. It's just so annoying. I mean, this is just what's going on in the world. I mean, we're not gonna sugarcoat it. America sucks right now for a lot of reasons that we're not gonna talk about at this moment. But
yeah, well, I completely agree with that entirely. But with all respect, the world actually sucks right now. The inflation level of everything, if every country kind of gone through the roof right now.
True, but I bet you nobody besides America is under a bigger magnifying glass from the rest of the world. It's like, it's ridiculous. Well, I mean, like everybody's talking about us now.
For different reasons, but yeah.
Different reasons. And it's none of them are good.
Right.
None of them are good. Nothing coming out of... no news article coming out of America to the rest of the world right now is good. I don't think it ever really has been, but like...
It's all your fault, Jay.
Of course.
Of course.
So this
They're
is
writing about you.
I wanted to bring up because I know you have an opinion on it. Because I've seen you post about it. There's a thing going around for narrators. We're still going to talk about narrators, even though I'm not in the community anymore. I mean, I have a bunch of narrators who are my friends, and I do care about them, and this affects them. So there's a thing going around where a lot of people are getting demonetized and flagged for nudity on their channels. And Raven pretty much figured out that it's all Reddit links.
Right.
In the description. For some reason, YouTube thinks that all Reddit links now contain nudity on the other end.
Well, okay, so that's where it gets kind of confusing because it's not necessarily all Reddit links. It's just like most of them. So some people link to the accounts of the authors and some people link directly to the story. Typically, the story doesn't get flagged, but sometimes it does if the author marks the story as not safe for work on Reddit, like the NSFW flag that actually gets attributed to it. If you link to an account directly, if that person goes and then comments on something that's on an adult content subreddit, it links directly to pornography, right? Like, it's a really confusing situation in that, yeah, we want to attribute to people that, hey, they wrote this story, here's where it is, this is the author's profile, right? But how do we do that without completely just killing our channels by YouTube, sorry, not Reddit, saying that we're, violating the community guidelines because we link to pornography? Like, how do we do that? Like, my method and how I've done it, I just stole it straight from Joel Let's Read, and that is that I just tag the user in the description. I also add their name on the screen, so that way it's always attributed. Like, this story is by TDN. It's in the description and it's on the screen at all times. But like, it is a major point of contention for people. Like, how what do we do?
It's like no matter. It seems like as soon as something's solved with this horror community stuff with YouTube and constantly fighting
Mhm.
for the right to be on the platform, it's always something new. There's always something to fucking worry about. Like, narrators have to fight for their fucking existence every 5 seconds after they just dealt with the last blow.
Oh, I mean, well, you say the last blow, but the last blow still hasn't even passed, and that is the whole. You're no longer monetized because you're reusing content, quote unquote.
Yeah.
That I don't like. I have some thoughts on that one, in that it typically happens to narrators who do black screens. So if you have a black screen on the screen, like nothing visual, and you do a story, and the system, my assumption is, and this may be incorrect, but my brain kind of thought this out. I think it's actually their closed captioning system that flags it, because it listens to your words, and the whole system looks at what's on the screen. If it's a black screen and the words are in the same order as another channel's words,
Yeah.
it makes the system think you're just using their content. Because obviously that system doesn't give a shit what kind of tone or voice you use. It just knows the words you use that it transposed are, or not transposed, but like the transcript of it is the same. So I feel like that's related to that in some way, shape, or form, but I don't know, because I've seen channels who don't do black screens get demonetized for the same thing. One in particular is one he's not really like part of the community or anything, but Kinetic Symphony, he does the Glitch in the Matrix stories. That's kind of how I know him, because we have a very similar fan base. But he does the story. He has his face on the screen now, like he actually is in his videos.
Yeah.
He reads the story, and then after the story, he gives his own opinions and thoughts on the situation, or like on whatever it is. Like he analyzes it, which almost deems him like fair use situation. He does ask permission. He does do everything that I do and everything like everyone else does. But he could almost be considered fair use, because he gives opinions. He analyzes. But he was demonetized for a while for reusing content, even though he doesn't do the black screens and he doesn't do it like everyone else. So it's just really confusing, and YouTube always ends up reversing their decision. Always. As long as you make a big enough like ruckus, they will reverse it, which is so stupid.
Yeah, it doesn't. You think with how many fucking issues they've had with this particular thing, they
Right.
would take a step back and be like, maybe we should reevaluate our fucking bot.
Why would they?
I don't know. I mean,
'Cause
that's the
even if
logical
there's-
explanation, but we're talking about YouTube here. There's not a single shred of fucking logic in their reasoning ever.
Well, I mean, like, even if it was like 500 of us that had this exact problem, we're not making them Mr. Beast money. They don't give a shit about us.
True.
Do you really think do you really think that, maybe a couple $100 a month they steal from me for their fee, quote unquote, they give a shit about? I mean,
I do.
I know you do, buddy. But I mean YouTube. I mean Google's.
Yeah.
Sorry, Alphabet.
Googles.
No, they're Alphabet now. But no, so like the getting demonetized thing about the nudity, that specific topic that you wrote down and wanted to talk about. I really don't see a way around that except for people just not linking to Reddit anymore. Which
I mean, I've seen a couple of narrators now just say it's by this person.
Right. And that's kind of what my thoughts are. Like, hey, do this, and if they have like a website or a Twitter, link to that instead.
Yeah. Which
but
I think works really well with the next thing, which is CC by SA, which is commonly seen under creepypasta fandom stuff. Pretty much the entire website, unless otherwise stated, all the stories on there can be used by crediting, and
Mhm.
that's it goes hand in hand with the last thing. The only way around this whole link thing is to credit them the best way possible, and that's usually what CC by SA is. You don't just stop. You don't. I don't recommend just being like CC by SA, mine. just
Right.
use it. I mean, you can. Nobody can really stop you. Nobody's going to know your thought process. It's to see if you even tried to go the entire rabbit hole to try to find a link to the person, which most of the time there's not, which is why it usually ends up just being a name in the description. Um, but you definitely should. It's only
Right.
fair. It's their work. I'm going to say that you're probably not going to find anything when it comes to fandom, because like it's some obscure person that made one
Right.
story about 10 years ago and he never popped up again. Um,
That happens
so
actually pretty
it happens
frequently.
so often on that platform. So you end up, if you ever see like no links and it just says by this person and it just says the story, that's pretty much it. Like that's all we have. Um, but because you can't link the story with the Reddit links anymore, do some digging. Message the person,
Right.
being like, "Hey, if I know we talked about using your story. I just want to know if like, can I link any other thing you have, an audio, a book, a Twitter or YouTube, something else you have? Because if I link this, just talk to them, talk to the authors. I mean, you already have to ask them for permission. If you don't, you're not doing it right.
Right.
But ask them, being like, hey, can I link something else? With fandom, you really can't. There's no messaging system, and even if there was,
And
they probably wouldn't
you
answer.
can, you can leave a comment on the story.
Yeah, and it never
No,
gets
so
answered.
that was by an author and by one of the admins who is an author that was on the fandom on the wiki. Um, One of the things they said to me is the best thing to do is, because everything is Creative Commons, so long as attribution is given, CC by SA, the best thing to do is to narrate the story, give the proper attribution in the story or on the screen or in the description. And then obviously, so legally, you have to link to the source material as well as the license. So most people don't do both those things. You're supposed to. And by that, I mean you have to link again to the story, which a lot of people do. They, however, don't link to the licensing, the actual Creative Commons website for CC by SA, which you are supposed to do. But anyway, uh,
That I didn't know.
the other thing, yeah, you're legally supposed to. But again, nobody really enforces it because you're linking to the story, and that's the important part. Um, but the other thing you can do and that you should do is leave a comment on the story with a link to the video. So that way, if the author ever does come back, they can see that you did it. And it's not just like thrown on them by some random person that some random guy narrated it. It's just kind of a nice way to say, hey, I did use your story. Here's the link to it.
Yeah.
So it, again, it's not a requirement, but it is kind of a best practice. Like, hey, you know, just here's the link to the story kind of thing. I don't know. I think that's a good way to do it.
The only reason I bring this up is because I'm not going to name any names, but it was probably like a year or two ago. I was watching a live stream, and there was a very inexperienced narrator on a live stream, and there was two narrators talking to this narrator, and they brought up. I had told this person who was on the interview show that CC by SA means as long as credited and linked properly to the
Mhm.
story, you can use it. And 99% of the time that means you're not asking this person for it, because that's why the CC by SA is on that website, I'm pretty sure, because like it's why it's so common on that website. It's why it's completely website widespread, is because they know
Right.
most people are not going to message anybody. So
Well, and
it's
the thing
no
about that
those
is
authors are not going to reply. They're not going to talk to anybody. So the authors knowingly put it on there unless otherwise stated under
right.
CC by
Well,
SA.
and that's the thing is, and I know you're going to continue that. I apologize,
You're good.
but the CC by SA license isn't just the creepypasta wiki.
Right.
That is anything that's on fandom anywhere. Like there's a Star Wars fandom where like the stuff that's posted there is it's informational, so it's supposed to be CC by SA. Because the real intent of a wiki is to give information, not tell stories. But that's if it's on a a wiki, a fandom, it is connected to that license directly no matter what.
Yeah.
So it's very broad licensing. So if they're posting to the wiki, they know what they're posting
They
to.
know they're knowingly putting it under CC by SA, and it says it all the way
Right.
at the bottom. This is under CC by SA unless otherwise noted. It says it under every single story. And I've literally never seen any story that says the otherwise noted part. It's
Right.
just so this I had told this person, who was a very new narrator, that if it's under CC by SA, as long as you link and credit them, permission is usually not needed. I would say you can try, but you're not really going to
Right.
get anywhere. So if you're
Right.
on fandom, I'm just going to say it flat out. I've never asked for permission because there's literally no
Same.
point. You can't. There's no way to do it. You can't. There's no. The profile's linked to 4chan level profiling. Like there's nothing there. And you have to go back. This is what I'll say before I continue. The best way to find out who, because most of the time it's edited to hell, and the person who is under the title is usually not the person who wrote it. You got to go back through the history, and you go all the way to the bottom, all the way to the last page. That's the person who wrote it. You link that version of the story. That's the version you should link. That's the person who made the story.
It says like this person created page with this many bits, and it'll be something like 50,000 bits.
Yeah, and it was like 8 years ago. It'll say like the newest version is 2018. Don't link the newest version. Link the oldest one, because that's the person who created the whole site, the whole page, and that's what is technically under CC by SA. The other people are just putting in a couple words that might help. That's it. It's not theirs.
Right.
So,
well, and it's like you said, there are stories on there, and hell, I've done stories on there where I look back to the history and it was created back in 2013.
Yeah.
That was almost a decade ago. Do you really think that person's still around in the website? Do you think they really care? Do you think they're checking their comments on that page, that story every single day to see who requests it? No, it doesn't. That's not.
Most of the time, authors on Creepypasta post on Creepypasta. They just want it to be seen, and that's it. Like, they really don't care. If you want it to be like recognized, most people put it on No Sleep. That's how it gets seen by bigger audiences. But
so it can be immediately deleted for breaking the rules.
Right. With fandom, it's really just like, let me just throw something out there. I've always wanted to write something. This is like testing the waters. And they're knowing, like I said, you post, and every time you post, I've posted stuff on fandom back when it was just creepypasta.wikia. Like, dude, that's fucking dated me. That was like 2011. Jesus Christ. I used to post creepypastas back then, like really shitty ones, and even back then, CC by SA was a thing, and it would tell you every time, this is under CC by SA, and then you would have to check the box. And if you don't check the box, it would say that it's not, and you would have to ask for permission. And it would give you and it would have your inbox open to those, and it would have like just a thread for those. That was it. So anyway, you're not going to get permission for these stories. Just do your best to credit these stories. That's all you have to do when it's under CC by SA. And I'm saying that because from experience.
You said that you had said that to a smaller narrator. Did they say, was there a follow-up to that?
So yeah, that's what I was going to continue.
Okay.
I told this smaller narrator, he wanted to know. He was like, "What's the best?" Because it was having a lot of trouble finding stories, and anytime he did find a story, like the person would make them pay like $45 for like 300 words. It was crazy.
Jesus.
So I was just like, all right, your best bet, if you want some like good substance, like, you'll have to really sift through, because there's a lot of garbage on creepypasta fandom, but you can find some really good shit. Because creepypastas are just No Sleeps. I don't care who you ask. That's all they are. They're just on a different fucking platform. There's no difference.
Vice versa, but yeah.
Because the same garbage is on No Sleep. It's just under No Sleep titling. That's it. You'll find literally the same stories on No Sleep. That's what you have to be careful for. That's what you have to be careful with.
So
if you find the same story on No Sleep that is on creepypasta, do some fucking research.
That too. There is also a tag on the wiki that is actually called Reddit pastas, which means it has been posted to Reddit before, and I avoid those at all costs.
Yeah,
just in case.
Because if you, God forbid, don't figure that out or find it, or like you're not looking really in that area, you just like, let's just say you pop up on the story, you hit the random pasta page. A lot of people do it. I've done it just to find a story. And you just start reading, and you're like, this is cool. Okay, this is this is the person. I got the link. I'm trying to find them. This is all I got. All right, CC by SA covered. All right, I'm just gonna start narrating. You start narrating.
Mm-hmm.
You post it. Someone takes down your video. You're like, what the fuck? And then you get a whole appeal thing. And you're like, I don't understand. And then you find out that story was also posted on No Sleep, and No Sleep has a way stricter policy. Like, you have to, your permission is definitely required. And makes sense. You can actually message people there. You don't have to comment through like a 4chan thread to fucking, you don't have to go through forums just to find this person. But it's not 100% obvious when you're doing that. So just be careful. So I told this person, your best bet was just to, credit these people as any way possible, like as the best of your ability. This is how you go through the history. This is how you find the actual person who did it. And that's how you do it. But when brought up in the live stream, I guess it's just the way he said it. He was like, well, I know when you go on Creepypasta Fandom, you don't have to ask for permission. I guess it's just the way he said that. And the other two were like, no, never, ever do that. You always have to ask for permission. I'm like, as soon as he said fandom, you should have automatically snapped into like, oh, okay, that makes sense. But no, they don't attack people or tell people things unless you actually know what's going on.
I'm going to have to like ask you about that after the show, because I don't... Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, because you got very mad when I told you.
You probably did. I've totally forgotten. So
as soon as I say who it was, you'll understand.
Yeah.
But the funny part is like the people the interviewers and the interviewee are like very close friends of mine. I don't have any ill will towards these people. It was just they don't look that far into it, or they were very scared that if you said something like that, they would get taken down or get flack for it. I don't know why. It was maybe a mixture of both. They just didn't know that's actually how it works, which is fine. But that is how it works. When it comes to CC by SA on fandom, permission is just, it makes literally no sense to worry about that type of thing when it's literally impossible to do, and there's a reason why CC by SA is there. They know it's going to get used like that. Everybody on there knows that. And a lot of people are posting creepypastas there in hopes that someone will just look at their story and narrate it and put it out there for people to see.
Right. They're sharing their story. They're not trying to, sell it to, I don't know, like Sci-Fi Channel or something to make a show out of it.
But yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. So what's going on with you in your life, in your YouTube endeavors? What you got going on? You got any projects going on?
I have no projects going on. My projects are over. That was June. I did all my little guest spots. You were one of them.
I was one of them. That was actually the most difficult narration I've done in a long time, because audiobooks are such a different ballgame. You have to narrate completely differently. And I just felt so out of place. Dude, I felt so awkward narrating those stories, because you have a lot of quality control with audiobooks most of the time, and like people care about the way they're structured and how they're written, and the just the flow of them. And you had me read true stories, which often have the worst fucking flow to read. So like it's very hard to like. I'm used to very like well flowed stories, and I stopped doing true stuff on my channel like years ago. So, when I had to do that, I felt so awkward for the entire time. It took me so long to get a proper tone of voice. I went so deep and like gravelly with that one, like monotone, and I didn't. I don't know why. That's just what I thought it needed, and I was
right.
I don't know. I felt so fucking.
It can be hard to gauge. It can be hard to gauge emotions properly on a true story. Because like
on a collab with another person on another person's channel in like 2 years.
Right. No, and I understand that. That's okay. I wanted you on specifically because even though I knew you didn't post to your channel anymore and don't do this anymore,
Yeah.
you're still the one person I never had on my channel that I wanted.
I was never on your channel. We never did a collab.
No, I was always on
What?
yours.
That can't be
No, I was
right.
on your channel like 3 times and that dude, you were never on my channel. That was literally it.
That was the only one.
That's the only one. That's
What
why I
the
had to have you
fuck?
on. Yeah,
Dude.
right?
What?
Yeah. Sad, isn't it?
Huh. Weird. Okay, I did not fucking know that. That just kind of threw me off. Um,
Yeah, no, I was on your channel several times, but I never I did my stuff and it just never happened that we worked together,
huh.
you know?
I guess I just we did so many collabs on my thing that I just and like I narrated a couple of your stories. Um,
Mhm.
so I guess I just thought like it was more connected than it was. That's crazy.
Yeah. No, it's sad. You should have been on my channel more. I haven't done collabs in a while, to be honest with you. So, but
Huh.
anyways, and then you started telling people not to subscribe to your channel. So,
Yeah, I mean, there's no point.
no, I know.
I'm not gonna
It
post
was just
anymore.
funny because people are like, "Oh, it was awesome. Does he have a channel?" And I'm like, "Well, you could always just click the @ in the title. But that's okay." Um, I love that so much. Um, but no, and it was yeah. So that was my projects.
Sick.
July, I don't have anything special going on. I'm just doing what I do.
I mean, you're growing, and I'm very happy for you. I'm very proud of you. I mean, I remember
Yeah.
that first live stream when I came in. I had no idea who you were, and my girlfriend had. I don't remember. I think you had like an issue with like a narrating thing or audio thing. Um,
I think so. Yeah.
something like that. Something she thought that I would be able to help with, which I don't know if I did. But she always like puts me on to live streams of like some narrators who need a thumbnail or they need help with this or help with that. They're like they don't understand what's going on with their live stream. I'm like, I don't fucking know. So she always like tells me like links the person. I'm like, I don't know who this is, and they're like, just go help him. I'm like, okay. So I go, and you're just talking to your chat. This is one of like the first couple live streams that you did, and
Mhm.
you were like at 300 subs or something like
Yeah,
that.
I was
You were very
tiny.
small. Uh, and I think I had just hit like 1,500, almost 2K at that point,
I
and
think you were at 2K.
it was something
I
like
think
that.
you were at 2K.
I think I just hit 2K,
Mhm.
and I I was talking in chat. I remember I put TDN and I put myself in chat, said something,
Mhm.
like, hey, I heard you need help or what's going on, and you're like, oh, it's him, it's TDN, and I'm like, yeah, hi, what's up? And the way you reacted made me feel like I had 1 million subscribers. And I get from where you're sitting, it would have made sense because I remember when I met people with the same amount of subs at the same amount of subs you were at.
Mhm.
And I remember getting like starstruck and nervous. So I'm like, oh god, they know way more than I do. Like, but no, you really fucking don't. Like, like we don't at all, dude. Like, I mean, nobody. There's not a fucking. You think Let's Read knows what's going on? He has people to help him know what's going on. That's it. Like and they don't even know what's going on. They're just hoping that they know what's going on. Like
I think he's just a nice dude that wants to get his coffee.
that's it. He just wants to get his coffee, and like he'll help. And if anybody can help him get there, he's fine. He'll pay him for it.
I will never forget that interview.
It's like,
Hey guys, is it
can I
okay if I
just
go ahead
instead
and
of I
get
just
some?
go
I'm gonna get
for
some
some
coffee. Is that
coffee real
okay?
quick? Like, what if we said no? He's like, oh, okay.
Right.
It was so sweet.
Yeah, but no, I'm because I remember that. I remember you came in, and I remember going to your channel and looking like, damn, this dude has like 2,000 subs. Like he's making it.
I could have. I could have made it. I definitely could have
Right.
if I tried. This wasn't what I wanted to do, but you did it. You're doing it. Just keep going. You're doing it.
I'm doing my
You're
best.
doing it. You're very close.
It's all about consistency, dude. Not
Honestly,
even gonna
10K
lie.
more subs and you're good.
Yeah. No. If
That's
I
pretty
can
much it.
double my sub slash view slash income, yeah, no,
That's where
I
it
think
starts
I'd
taking off.
actually,
That's like it snowballs from there.
yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. But no, I'm I will completely agree with you in that I am doing pretty damn good, and I will say I'm gonna fucking make it. So I mean,
You are. You're going to make it. I know you are. Made it this
because if
far.
I don't, I ain't got nothing else, brother.
That's how I felt. I'm like, all right, if this next thing doesn't work out, I'm fucked. Like, I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know what I'm gonna do.
It's like I gave up my career in 2020. I'm fucked otherwise.
Yeah, that's how I mean, I quit my job to be self-employed,
Hmm.
and that's like, you hear about that a lot. It's like I quit my job to be a YouTuber. Yeah, but they kind of had a decent income. Like I don't. I really fucking don't. But I just have a situation that I'm privileged enough to, I'm fortunate enough to be able um to be in the position I am to where I can, I'm not making that much more than I was uh at my full-time job. Um but it's enough to where I can, pay the bills and have food, and so that's good enough for me for now.
Right. No, I mean that's
If
and
I
that
was
that's
if
what
I was
I'm.
alone, like I couldn't have been able to afford it, but I'm not. So
Oh yeah, no. If I didn't have patience over here and she wasn't working, or if I, I'd be fucked, dude. Like I wouldn't be able to do this.
I'm fortunate enough to be able to build my business in a comfortable environment where I just have to
Yeah.
worry about paying the rent, and that's pretty much it. And I have, just from thumbnails alone, I'm able to pay rent. So anything on top of that is just what I like. My laptop I'm paying off, or my new TV that I'm paying off, which I haven't told anybody really about yet, except for like in a smushed word tweet like an hour ago. Um, but yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Getting a bigger TV. Excited about it.
Should be.
I have a 43 inch right now. I'm going to 55.
Damn.
It's a pretty big upgrade for a room. Like, and nobody knows how fucking small my room is. Like, you guys have seen it on live streams, but it's small, dude. Like, when I push my chair in to my desk, I have like a foot of space between the bed and the chair. There's not that much room in here. It's like a fucking Harry Potter closet. It's so small. The fact that I fit any of the, I mean, people have seen pictures of like my setup and what I put in here. Anybody with a brain would not have done this because it's like so fucking cramped in here. But I needed it to feel like my space, so I just shoved as much as I could with being able to walk to my bed, and that's it.
Right. No, and dude, trust me, I get that. I have a corner in the basement. Like I could have a.
Your new
This
desk is
basement is.
sick, though.
Oh, I love this desk.
It's awesome.
This desk kicks ass.
It's awesome.
It's very comfortable, and it's. I do have myself kind of like boxed off in the corner because of it, but I love it.
I mean, I don't like. I had an L desk, so I'm not like a huge fan of them anymore. I thought I liked
Mhm.
them until I had one. Um, I had one that was like so much bigger than that, and it had like a hutch on top, and it was just not what I wanted at all. Like I'm so much more of a straight piece of wood, long piece of wood person.
Mhm.
Not even just wood, just like a long desk. I want to go up to like a 60 inch, 60 by, I think it's like 28 or something like that, or maybe just like keep it the same width, like a 60 by 24. Right now, I think I'm at a 50 by 24. But I was telling Darek. Oh, sorry, I keep fucking forget. I've been trying to say this for like an hour. I keep forgetting about it. For anybody who doesn't know, the loop and the podcast art for the new version of the podcast is created by Derek Weber. He is currently in the description. Go check him out. People have commissioned him for thumbnails recently, so go check him out. He's willing to. I'm pretty sure he's willing to do that for you. It's great stuff. I mean, he's making this stuff on a phone. What's your excuse? Not you specifically, but just like
I
people
I
listening.
lost one of my commissions to him, so
You did?
yes, I won't
How?
talk about it though. I won't talk about it.
Oh my god. Okay, I'm sorry. Did I just
So fuck you.
pick at a wound? I'm sorry. Is that a touchy
I
subject?
hate you. I
I'm
hate
sorry.
you.
Um, but I was telling Derek, I want the same thing I have, but like longer. Not like I don't want it anymore coming out because it's like already kind of wide. Um, but I want it longer, like a 60 inch, and I want it. There's this navy blue stain that I want, and I'll just like clear
Mhm.
coat that. It would look so fucking cool. Same legs. Well, no, I would definitely get different legs. These legs suck, but um, Same idea, standing desk and all that. But yours looks cool. It's cool for you. Like I wouldn't personally have it, but it's a dope setup. I can't deny that.
No, it worked. So here's my thing, dude. It's for me, it's function over form. It's what I needed.
Yeah.
So
I think it's because I had that for so long. Like, it functions, but like, do I like it?
Right.
And I had to get a desk that functions, and I would have to love the way it looks and operates, and I can't get that from a desk that I buy. I have to build it. So it's like, as long as I get the legs, it doesn't matter what I put on top. I just have to love it. Because the desk, the way you love your desk is the way it looks and the way it's shaped, and you set it up that way. You can really only customize a desk that you truly love if you do it from scratch. So I bought a giant piece of fucking wood and screwed it into the legs and stained it and clear coated it and drilled holes in it for cable management and put cable rack things on the bottom and lights all over it. And like, I can't get this way with just going to an IKEA and buying a desk and like painting it or something or putting like vinyl on it.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know why I just went on a tangent there, but
that was a bit of a tangent, but
I
it's
just
okay.
feel like I just feel like I've been dealing with shit desks for so fucking long. Or just a desk that I was cool with because it looked cool at the time, and then I was just like 2 years down the line, I'm like, this fucking desk sucks.
You deserve the best, bro.
Thanks, Dad. Yeah.
I didn't want you to find out this way. Anyway,
so before we go, there's one more thing I want to talk about.
Oh, before we go, no, we got to finish this topic. This one's important.
You know what I'm talking about? Yeah,
the one that's in the list of topics you gave me.
Yeah, this really fucking annoys me. This like truly fucking annoys me. So
you're okay. Hang on. Stop for one moment.
What's up?
I've made several stupid fucking jokes during this podcast, and you haven't laughed at one of them.
You know why? Because I'm dripping sweat right now. It's so hot in here, and my fan is off.
Well, if you just said that, I would have stopped talking.
It's like, yeah, dude, your breath is kicking.
God, now I have this visual of you all sweaty, and it's just like,
I just have this visual.
Damn, I wish you wasn't so sweaty.
Damn, man,
I'm just like, oh no.
Where you get all that ass?
Oh no, bad thoughts. Anyway, go on. Yeah, what's the topic?
Oh, okay. So the topic is, and this is, for some people, this is not really a big deal, which is what pisses me off.
The same.
There's two halves of it. But they both they're both the same thing. Leaving a mess on tables after eating at a sit down place like a Texas Roadhouse or just like a McDonald's. It doesn't matter. Or
yeah, I was like, can we extend that a little bit to places like Panera and McDonald's?
Just anywhere you can sit down and like you open up a thing, or you're sitting down with a knife and a fork, or you just open up a Big Mac. It doesn't matter. Anywhere you can leave a mess. And this also stems into, we'll talk about this in a second, but leaving your trash and fallen food all over the place in a movie theater, all over your seat and in between the seats. Oh, you dump your kids dump your fucking popcorn on the floor, and like you have fucking like hot dogs over the place. You're a horrible piece of shit if you do that. Like, you have no irredeemable. That tells me who you are as a person, and I want nothing to do with your face in my life.
Yeah, no, I agree with this. And I see this. So like places.
We'll talk about the tables. We'll talk about the tables first.
Sure. So, okay, weekends and some weeknights, Patience and I like to go to Panera because I have like 4 months of their stupid like unlimited drinks for free.
Can I say something before we start this?
Yeah.
You actually like Panera?
I like some things from Panera, yeah.
You don't think it's too expensive?
Some things are definitely way, way too expensive. Yes,
like,
absolutely.
I've never been there before, and my common conception of Panera was a sit-down like soup and sandwich place, but it's like a Starbucks with sandwiches. It just
kind of,
yeah, and it really threw me off because I thought it was like Olive Garden but for sandwiches. That's what everybody always made it seem like that. So I was very confused when I walked in, and I was like, I thought I was gonna sit down and like someone was gonna come take my order. That's what I thought it was the whole time. And then I ordered these 2 chicken sandwiches. Came with 2 chips, and I ordered 2 drinks, and I paid like $40.
Okay, their chicken sandwiches, and Derringer will absolutely attest to this. Their chicken sandwiches, no, they're not good either.
They're not worth what they cost.
Fuck no. Like
But they're
Patience and I
actually
had
pretty
one.
good, and the only thing I will say about them is one thing on them I cannot find anywhere because they manufacture them at Panera is the fried pickle thin potato chip things they put on top of the chicken sandwiches. There's nowhere
The
I can get.
spicy one.
Yeah, and I can't find I can't get those anywhere, and that was like the most unique thing. And I don't really like pickles, so having that on the sandwich, I was like, this is actually really fucking good. But it's still not worth like the $13 I paid for this tiny ass sandwich.
No, and that's my problem is that no, their chicken sandwich is seriously $11, and it's
It's
not.
not worth $11. It's like a $5 sandwich.
Whenever I can go to McDonald's and get their stupid chicken sandwich for like $4, I'm sorry, but no. So I like Panera. My thing about Panera is I like their breakfast wrap, the one that has like the egg and the chicken on it. It's really good. Has chipotle sauce on it. I like that. That's good if we're up there for breakfast. But dinner, it's either the flatbread pizzas because they're actually pretty. Those are legit. Or if I'm wanting soup, I'll just get a bread bowl because I love their bread bowls, dude. Like their broccoli and cheddar soup is legit.
I was just so I was like, I don't think I'm ever gonna go here again. I was like, it's so expensive for. It's how it feels like when you go to Starbucks and you're like, this diarrhea in a cup is fucking $18. Like, what the hell is this? It doesn't taste good. Like, it's not like. I mean, Panera. I would definitely go to Panera over Starbucks for sure. Like, I've tried Starbucks multiple times. I've gave it multiple chances, and I'm just like, it always tastes like dirt. I don't fucking get it. Their coffee always tastes like dirt.
I like some Starbucks stuff. It depends on what you get.
They're refreshing. Their tea-based things are good. But
sure.
I've tried multiple coffees. I've tried like the lightest version of their coffee to see if maybe I was just like they were just putting too much espresso or like their main blend was just too dark for me.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's like even when they put like a shit ton of creamer and sugar, it still tastes like dirt. Like I don't fucking understand.
See, I like white mochas, so that's my thing. It's because it's too. I like it's sweet.
But I mean, I spent
anyway
like $8 on a fucking Starbucks breakfast sandwich, and it was like, it's like a Gruyere cheese or whatever the fuck it was, and on like on like a ciabatta with like chicken and bacon, and I was like, it was the driest fucking thing I've ever put in my mouth. It was the worst, and their hot chocolate it was like black coffee.
Oh, fuck.
It was so disgusting.
So Starbucks did switch things over a while back to where everything that doesn't have isn't specifically designed to be sweet, like their white mocha, does not have sugar in it anymore. So like their mocha is a sugarless chocolate sauce.
Why the fuck wouldn't they have sugar in hot chocolate? I shouldn't have to ask for 2 creams, 2 sugars for my hot chocolate. It's fucking hot chocolate. They put this shit in packets, dog. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, no, I don't know.
Fuck the cake pops. They're like $13, and you could make it at home for 2 cents. Fuck that, dude. I don't like going to places and spending money if I feel like I can make it at home. It's why I don't like. I love Jersey Mike's. They have delicious cheesesteaks, but you cannot pay me to go in there and order a regular sandwich, like a Boar's Head sandwich. It costs less to go to fucking Walmart and get Boar's Head and then just take it home. And I can make it at home exactly the same way. They can't make it any better than me. It's just mayonnaise on a sandwich. Like, what the fuck? No. I don't go to places unless I'm sure that these people can make something I can't make at home. Otherwise, why the fuck am I spending this much money on it? If it's good, I'm not going to go. So, I can't make Starbucks at home, but I don't think I fucking want to.
I like that. Thank you. That's a good way to put it. So anyways, I have a thing with them. It's free right now because I signed up for the trial thing, where basically I can walk in and put in my phone number and I get a free drink no matter what it is. I can get anything I want. So she has one too, and what we'll do is we'll go up there, and that's where I'll do like my writing or my organizing for like my channel stuff. Because it's just I'm one of those people who like I need to get away from home to do stuff creative.
Yeah.
Like that's where I do my best writing.
I wish I could go
but anyway, so
with my laptop and just fucking do stuff.
That's literally why you bought a laptop.
I know, but I don't have a car yet.
Well, that's definitely a problem.
Yeah, I mean, I do go outside. I do like go outside with it, like when it's really nice out, and I'll just
I
like
I do touch grass.
I do
I
touch
promise.
grass. No, I'll take it to like my parents' house or something, and like
Yeah.
do work there on their porch, or I'll go on my porch and stuff. And it does help with my like mental state. Doing work outside,
And
it
that's
definitely helps.
that's kind of what I need. Like I need something. I need to be
Once I
away
get a
from
car,
home.
dude, I'm going like 2 hours away to a fucking like not a Starbucks, um, like an actual coffee place that serves good
I'm driving
coffee.
to Ohio.
Um,
uh,
and sit down there. I'd rather I'd go to fucking No, I wouldn't go to McDonald's. They'll steal my laptop. Um,
that's why you don't ever like take it out of your, never mind.
I'm not gonna. I'm gonna
Anyways, so the other day at Panera, this guy had his bag of food that was a to-go bag, and he was still in the restaurant, but I guess he ate there instead.
yeah,
And okay, you've been inside a Panera, you've been inside a McDonald's, you've been inside literally any fast food restaurant. You can tell where the trash cans are. They're
yeah.
pretty obviously marked. So the guy asked the lady working there where the trash was. Mind you, he was standing right beside it. So he asked that, and she's like, "Oh, it's right there." So he took his bag and basically threw it in the thing for the dishes and walked away instead of putting it in the trash can.
Jesus Christ.
Right. I'm like, "You're fucking joking, right? This isn't what this is a joke, right?" I'm on punked, right? Cuz dude, I saw him do that and I was like, "I want to slap that motherfucker so
I
hard."
do it, dude. My dad all the time. Anytime we go anywhere, like if we were sitting down, I can't remember. I think it was at where was it? I think it was at like a Chinese buffet or something. And he gets like 3 or 4 plates every time we go. And
Yeah.
he just leaves like there's rice all over, like his fucking tea is kind of spilled onto the table, his napkins are everywhere. And I'm putting all my stuff on the plate and he's telling me to hurry up and let's go, and I'm like, "Can you give me a fucking second? I'm putting it all this together." And they're like, "They'll do it." I'm like, "That's not the fucking point. Like that's what they get paid for." I'm like, "I don't give a fuck what they don't just get paid to clean up the tables. If that was the case, I would agree with you, but that's not what it is. Even if they were just cleaning up the fucking tables, why do you have to make it so hard? They're getting paid literally fractions of what you're getting paid to do this bullshit to clean up your gunk. So, and it takes you 2 seconds to put the napkin on the plate. Just fucking do it."
Just because it's what they're getting paid for does not mean you get to treat them like shit.
Yeah. Okay. So
Like, I
I've
don't.
seen more of this at the movie theaters recently, and it's
Yes.
so fucking annoying. I go to the movies like every month because there's like been new movies that I've really wanted to see coming out every month. Like Thor's coming out next month. I saw Jurassic World last one. Or this month. I said next month. This month I'm going. So sorry. So we're
Good.
going to the movies like every month. I shit you not, the last 3 fucking times, the most disgusting, despicable fucking people have been in our row next to us, like seats right next to us.
Yeah.
So I see popcorn and shit all the time, and I'm just like, if you accidentally spill it, okay, I'm not gonna say clean it up, but go tell somebody, "I'm sorry, I spilled all this stuff all over the place." Let them know you didn't just dump your popcorn all over the fucking floor on purpose,
Right.
because then they're just gonna walk in and think everybody fucking hates them. Like they already have shitty enough jobs dealing with your fucking retarded ass. Just like just pick up the popcorn or tell them. Just tell them.
Right.
It's the least that you can do for fucking up the rest of their night. So we're sitting in these rows, and I can only imagine because I know they have to disinfect chairs like heavily now because of COVID.
Right.
So imagine my surprise when we're sitting down. I think it was back in March or April. I can't remember. We're watching the new Fantastic Beasts movie, and I'm sitting in like we have like we always pick like the center row with like the center seats, and I think my uncle's to my left of me, and he has 3 people to the left of him. And I have like no seats for like 3. I have no people in like 3 of the seats next to me, and then there's a person and like no people for the rest of the row.
Right.
So I look over, and I didn't notice this until like 10 minutes in, but this motherfucker has his shoes off, like socks and shoes. And this is the type of theater that has luxury recliners.
Mm-hmm.
So his feet are all over these seats. And they smell bad. like really fucking bad. Like I thought it was my uncle's nachos that was making the smell, and it wasn't. It was that bad.
No.
I was like, "Is that your nachos?" He's like, "I have fries." I'm like,
Oh.
"What? I thought you ordered nachos." He's like, "Why would you think that?" I'm like, "'Cause there's a motherfucker who smells like his feet smell like nachos." I find out after the movie. I didn't even notice because I'm not paying attention to the peripherals. I'm just looking at the movie. I didn't know, but both chicks next to him had their shoes off.
Oh.
Both people. And then the third guy on the way down there, I'm like, this is fucking disgusting. Next time we go the next month. We go the next month, and I did this to my uncle, and I feel really bad. But, so we have the same type of seats, and we're going in the row, and I immediately notice that there's a very heavy-set woman with her shoes and socks off, reclined. Again, I'm like, this can't be fucking happening. But I made it so he would have to sit next to her, so I picked the other seat. He was mad at me the whole fucking time. Oh, there's a guy ripping up the street right now.
That's fine.
I was like, Jesus Christ. So we go to the last movie. And this was Jurassic World. This was last month. And we thought that there would be a lot of kids or like a lot of screaming because it's like a loud movie or something. It was very nice. The food was good. The alcohol was good. We're having a really good time. And we go back in the car and we like to talk about the movie. And I was like, that was actually really surprising. We finally had like a time where like nothing, like the food wasn't gone and the alcohol wasn't like out of order, or like the frozen alcohol wasn't out of order, and like we had good seats and there was no assholes. And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. The two people next to me had their shoes off again. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Jesus.
The two people next to him had their shoes off. She took them off halfway through. So that's extra stank. They were sitting. They were marinating. But if you're the type of people who do that, there is no justification for it. You are scum of the earth. Scum of the fucking.
No, I agree with you. I'm going to agree with TDM on this.
I have been going to the movies since I was like 3 or 4 years old. I don't think I've ever seen another. The last 3 times I went, I've seen a total of 5 or 6 people have their shoes and socks off on their all over these recliners. I don't think in any other point of my life, I don't think I've seen one fucking person do that. And somehow after like COVID is happening, that's when I see it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what the fuck? It's just
These are the same.
What's wrong with you people? And it's not even like they're confident that their feet don't smell. They smell so bad every time.
These are the same people who sneeze without covering their mouth in the frozen pizza section of Walmart.
Or they're like, they open the frozen door and they're like,
and then don't grab anything.
Then don't cover their mouth and cough all over the fucking frozen pizza and walk away.
They walk into the aisle that you're walking down and they get in your way and they look at the stuff in front of you and don't grab anything. Those are those motherfuckers. I agree with Anime. Just bring Lysol. I'm just going to start fucking bringing Lysol and spraying people. I'm going to be going to prison for assault, but you know.
There's one more piece of this.
Sure.
I don't think there's anything wrong with fighting a parent in a store if you're an employee and their kid is fucking up your entire job. I don't think
absolutely.
First tell that kid off and then punch the fuck out of the parent if they get physical.
Yes.
I saw this happen in GameStop like 3 or 4 years ago. I was working at a grocery store, and a lot of the time I like to just pop into GameStop and hang out. The GameStop employees are usually really fucking nice, and they will literally just let you hang around and just like talk about stuff and talk about games. I did that usually on every one of my lunch breaks. So I walked in there and I was just hanging out. I was talking to the guy, and I don't think there's anything wrong with fighting a parent. Yeah, I don't. Fuck it. So
in general, just punch him.
Fucking punch him. Punch any person you think has a kid at some point in their life, like, or even in the future if they have a kid, like punch them now.
Right. If you think they may become a parent, punch.
Just punch them now. But so I'm just standing there. I'm talking to the guy, and a guy walks in with his kid. His kid's like probably like 5 or 6, and he definitely doesn't want to be in GameStop. But he probably told his kid that he promised him that he would get him a game or something. This kid comes in, he's ripping everything off the fucking racks. He's taking games off the fucking things. He's like throwing games up in the air, and the guy, and Understandably so, the guy behind the counter is like, hey, you can't be doing that. The guy gets in his face and is like, don't ever fucking talk. I'm gonna punch you in the fucking mouth. And this is the nicest guy I've ever met. I've never seen him get angry or irritated with like the worst customers. When I tell you this guy got so close to his fucking face, he's like, do it. Fuck me up. Go ahead. See what happens. And I was like, oh. And the guy looked at him, looked at his kid, and he just grabs his kid and walks out the store. I'm like, dude, that was seconds away from that kid not having a father. Like I could tell in his face that he was capable of killing this man. I was like, from that moment on, I was just like, I would never do it, but I'm making sure that I don't even get close to pissing this guy off. But like,
I mean, yeah.
If you're that type of person, the parent that lets your kids run rampant in a store, close your fucking legs. Like, what the fuck? Like, no, don't ever do that. You're a piece of shit.
Another thing I hate, and I know this is really pulling off topic here, but
I don't care.
Another thing I fucking hate is suggestive parenting, where you have that same thing where
you should really not. You should really not let your kid do that.
No, I mean like, okay. My example of this is situations like where you're at GameStop and the kid's throwing stuff off the shelf, and the dad looks over and says, "Hey man, hey bud, don't do that. Don't do that, man."
Instead of actually going to him and be like, "No."
Right. Instead of parenting and be like, "Hey, you stop that right now." They're like, "Hey, come on, don't do that. You shouldn't do that." It's like, or be a fucking parent.
Yeah.
I hate that shit. I see that a lot. Like that, I see that a lot here.
Employees should be allowed to punch parents in the face for getting mad over not being
repeatedly.
A good parent.
Repeatedly.
It's like, I want to tell you to your face that you suck at being a fucking father, and I want to tell your kid that he's a piece of shit.
Repeatedly.
I don't give a fuck about that kid. Fuck that kid.
Not my kid.
Not my kid. He's a shitty ass kid. Kids are shitty anyway. He'd probably be shit without you, but you're not helping.
Oh. I love this segment, Things I Hate.
I mean, me and Raven often talk about things we fucking hate. So I think this is a perfect topic to just talk about the things that make us seethe with rage just watching it happen.
Mean, it helps feel better about things.
I mean, one other one, if we're still talking about stores, is just customers raging at a fucking employee for not being able to control the stock of the fucking store.
Oh my god, I hate that shit, dude.
Like, dude, I worked in retail for the last 7 years of my life, and I feel sympathy for every person who has to deal with a fucking customer on a day-to-day basis and actually is responsible for helping them. Like, Jesus Christ. And I've heard some of the dumbest fucking shit come out of these customers' mouths, man. Customer's not always right. I don't think the customer has really ever been correct. Like, if we're being honest, I don't know where that fucking came from, because I've never heard one time customer being right about anything.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Like, I hate that shit. Like, I used to work... I've worked at several retail places, and it's just... Why are you out of this stuff? Because we don't fucking have any.
Can you check in the back? I know there's none in the back. How do you know? Because I fucking work here. What do you fucking think? I go back there all the time. You think I walk back there just because you told me to? You think I walk back there every time someone tells me to check back there? That's the only time I've ever seen the back room. Ever.
I know we're out of chicken. I work at Quiznos. I cry in the walk-in frequently, okay? Like, there's nothing there.
There's nothing! Like, dude, I know we don't have any. How do you know? Because I got yelled at by my boss when he asked why there's no fucking thing in that spot 8 hours ago. You think I haven't noticed that one hole in the entirety of the fucking floor has been unfilled for a day? You think I don't know? You think I haven't already checked? You think I just noticed? You think you're the one person who fucking figured it out? That the cookies on the right side of the cake case aren't there this time? Whoa.
That was like whenever I worked at Blockbuster. People were like, oh, do you have this movie in stock? Oh, hang on, let me check. No, we do not. Are you sure?
Are you? I did this. I would
I'm
always
sure.
walk in the back and stare at the wall for like 30 seconds and then come back,
That's just like
or check
no,
my phone and then come back.
I just don't understand like why people think that there's this magical storeroom in the back that has all this products that the employees are keeping for themselves or something.
It's like, yeah, unless you talk about it, I'm not gonna do it, bitch. That's why there's a floor. That's why there's shelves. You think I want to talk to you?
Right.
Really think about that.
No.
Do you think I want to talk to you? You think I'm happy
literally,
that part of my pay is talking to you?
I don't even want you in my fucking store.
Bro, I don't even. I have so many people. You lost a customer. Thank fucking God. Thank
Right?
you. I don't need you. We don't need you. It's a multi-billion-dollar company. They don't even need me. You think they need you? The fuck? And I put their product on the floor. What the fuck do? You're not even buying it. You're leaving mad. I mean more.
Congrats. You buying nothing means they need you less than me. Ha Right? Like Patient said, you lost a customer. Do you promise?
Because
I mean,
dude?
Oh no, please.
I'm gonna say
Stop.
this right now for any Karens who are listening, and you think Walmart stuff is fresh. I worked there for 3 years. It's all frozen. It's all frozen. Fresh bread, logs, frozen logs. The cookies,
there are
all
people who
frozen.
think
The
Walmart
donuts,
shit's-
frozen, warmed up in the fucking oven. The bagels, warmed up in the oven. The cakes are all frozen, defrosted, then iced.
There are people who think Walmart shit's fresh. Like that's actually a thing.
Yeah, I mean, like, I get thinking some of it's fresh, like the bread, but like, think about how much bread we do. We did 1,000 loaves like every hour. You think we're actually fucking like fucking kneading this dough back there? Do you not know how bread works? Yeah, you realize how long that would take? We're a multi-billion-dollar company. You think we're actually kneading dough back there?
Right? No, that's actually.
It's like
They really think that the back part of Walmart isn't just a fucking warehouse to store shit. That it actually has like.
I mean, we're scoring the bread and seeding it and stuff, and we're letting it proof, but it starts frozen. That's it. We take it out of the oven, we put it on the racks. That's it.
Right.
There's not a single fresh thing in there. Nothing. The cookies? Nope. Come out of little pucks and you put them in the oven. Not happening, bro.
I'm more so amused at the fact that people actually think Walmart makes shit fresh and it's not.
It's like, well, the deli has the fresh pizzas. I'm like, they are the same frozen pizzas that are next to the deli case that are not cooked. I've seen it.
Yeah.
They are the same pizzas and they're charging extra for them.
I like the frozen ones. I like their frozen pizzas.
You
know why?
They're fresh. They're like, I guess, quote unquote, fresh ones that are not frozen. The ones that are just like chilled next to the deli case. Those are actually really good. They have like barbecue chicken ones. They're really fucking tasty.
They have a
pepperoni magic Walmart is a fucking cult. It is a conglomerate of scum. It's not. There's no magic to that fucking place. Ruining the store magic.
Ruin the magic.
The magic. If you thought any of that shit was fresh before I told you it wasn't.
Are you gonna tell me that McDonald's is frozen too? You gonna tell me that KFC uses frozen chicken?
With that thought process, you'd be the type of people back in the fucking the 1600s who fucking thought that a woman writing eloquently was witchcraft.
You gonna tell me that Taco Bell doesn't?
Dude, have you ever seen how they actually prepare? Dude, I eat Taco Bell a lot, even after I saw this, and it still puts me off sometimes. The meat is in a bag, and they boil it. It's fucking disgusting. It's like pre-seasoned stuff, you know. It's all the mushiness, and then they just they take the bag and they just plop it in a giant fryer-sized thing of water, and then it just sits there. I mean, it tastes. I love it. It's the worst fucking food on planet Earth, but I love shoveling it in my fat fucking mouth.
Okay, I'm gonna complain now. because Patience brought something up and it made me angry.
But
She said, "But did you measure your mac and cheese by the scoop?" The Walmart by me, there was one day we went up there for some whatever reason, and I wanted to get the chicken strips from the deli with the macaroni and cheese. That's what I wanted. The guy behind the counter, and because they sell it by the container, by weight.
the hotcakes,
I was like, okay. I was like, can we also get the medium container of mac and cheese? So we just, it's sharing that or sharing the chicken strips. And the guy was like, how many scoops do you want? And I said, oh no, just fill the medium container.
That's what I always said.
Yeah, his answer, no, we sell it by the scoop.
No, you don't. That's a fucking lie.
Right. He fucking rang it up as 3 because I said, okay, 3 scoops. And the thing said 3.
That is not how that works.
I know it's not how it works. I've done it 100 times. But it's just like, he was just, we sell it by the scoop. I'm like, no, the fuck you don't.
Can I tell you something?
What?
It's Bob Evans. That's what the mac and cheese is.
That's fair. Bob Evans is trash, but I love their mac and cheese.
What do you mean? Bob Evans actually has pretty good fucking sides. Like
the Bob Evans that exist. Okay, let me recant and restate. The Bob Evans that was here in the Kansas City area was horrid.
Oh no, I mean like the chilled stuff in the next to the meat.
Yeah, I don't think the restaurants actually exist anymore.
Yeah, I mean like the pre-prepared sides like the mac and cheese and the mashed potatoes that you can get that's kind of towards the steaks.
Okay, I'll accept that. That stuff.
Their mashed potatoes
those things are good.
Bomb, dude. Like $3 and you get shit that actually kind of tastes homemade. It's pretty fucking great.
Okay. That's good to know. But no, I'm just it like she said, it was frustrating because I'm just sitting there just fill the container and I'll just pay for it because it's probably going to be like £1.50 or whatever. He was like, I need to know how many scoops you want because that's what we sell it by. I'm like, you are fucking lying to me right now for no reason other than being a dick. And I don't know how he rang it up because it wasn't the label kind of looked like he somehow rang it up by the scoop. But it didn't, it made no sense, dude. Because the board outside had the price per pound.
Fucking.
I don't know why, why the fuck would you do that? Why does he care if I pay more for my shitty mac and cheese? You don't make commission based on what you fucking make.
What I think is that someone taught him wrong. And
fair,
he just kept going with it. Because there's a lot of fucking idiots that work at Walmart. I know. Most of them are.
Just sitting here thinking this motherfucker's oh, I'm going to make commission off this macaroni and cheese sale. I'm like, you know what the fuck you don't. You don't make more money if I buy 6 chicken strips, bro.
They have shit chicken strips now. Back when I
worked
there,
the ones
their
we
chicken
got,
strips were very good.
Yeah, the ones that we got, because that was the last time we went, and I don't think we'll probably go anytime soon, because the ones we got were not great.
Back when I worked there, a lot of the shit that they did, they were trying to make it so it seemed more fresh than it actually was. Now they don't even fucking hide it. They don't care.
Right.
But back when I remember when they would do the salads, there would actually be a person back there every day that would have to prepare those salads. They would have a kit that it came out of a bag, but if something was in the salad that didn't come in the box, because sometimes they wouldn't send all the ingredients, or if it was just something they had a label for that they wanted to sell so that it would go quicker, like the fried chicken tender salad, they would actually fry a certain amount of tenders to make sure that they had a batch for their salads.
Right.
And then they would control how much they put in there. If I was working that day, I was like, are you making any of the fried chicken salads today? She's like, yeah. I'll be like, can you put 7 tenders in there? She's like, sure, whatever. And it's all one price, so it doesn't matter. But now it's just it's all off the shelf. It's all off the conveyor belt.
Yeah. I don't.
They also used to do they would take the chicken and the mashed potatoes and the macaroni and they would put it in a 3 compartment tray and sell it for $5. I don't ever see them doing it anymore.
Yep. That's they used that here too.
That was the best. I would get the General Tso's chicken with mashed potatoes and mac and cheese, and it would be the best lunch.
Yep, I would get the General Tso's with the mac and cheese, and I would ask if I would usually get.
They still have it. It's still really good. It's still the only General Tso's chicken I think actually tastes like what I think General Tso's should taste like.
Well, I'm gonna disagree wholeheartedly there and just say you don't have any good Chinese places near you.
I've had New York Chinese food too, and it doesn't. It all just tastes too sweet.
Okay, but have you had Kansas Chinese food? No, you haven't.
Why would
So
I give a fuck about Kansas Chinese food?
because it's better than the Chinese food you've had, bitch.
I don't. New York Chinese
I
food.
don't either.
Or you just like sweet chicken.
Sweet ass.
Pretty
Anyways,
spicy in here.
like the chicken. But no, like the Hen House grocery store by me, they do the salads. Like they hand make the salads in front of you. I love that place. Because if you go, they're a little more pricey, but like you ask for the salad, and if you want it to be like a salad for two or salad for one, they make it right there and put all the stuff together and they give it to you. And I love that.
That's how it was when I went to Texas to visit my girlfriend. A lot of the places were just like, it was accustomed to just you order it and it was there and they made it in front of you. Like we went to a place called Duck Donuts, and it was like the first like gourmet donut place I'd ever been to. Like I've only ever been to like a Dunkin' Donuts or like a good donut from like a bakery somewhere, but it very rare. And they have like crazy flavors like like lemon raspberry and Oreo blueberry cheesecake shit, and it was really it was fucking awesome. But they fry the donuts right there. Like as soon as you order it, they're putting donuts in the fryer, and I was so confused. I was like,
nice.
whoa. I mean, it's the same thing when I went to up here. Like food just fucking sucks, like near me. So I thought for a long time that McDonald's was just like really bad. Like not like, you know, everybody thinks McDonald's is bad, but I thought it was like inedible.
Like they're scraping it from the bottom.
Yeah, because like of how ours is. And then we were going to New York, and we went a different way than we normally go because I was with another person. And we stopped by a McDonald's on the way there, and I was like, we're gonna be sitting here for a fucking half hour waiting for my nuggets. It was like watching the movie The Founder. I fucking ordered, and it was there in 10 seconds. It was crazy. My 10 nuggets, my fries, and my Coke in like 10 seconds. I'm like, holy shit, this is what McDonald's is supposed to be like? And I ate it. I'm like, this tastes so much better. It actually tastes like they changed the oil.
Wait a second, this actually is food.
Like, it tastes actually pretty good. I was like, whoa.
Oh my gosh.
I've missed out on so much. Okay, I understand. We ordered like 4 donuts and I ate 1. I'm sorry. We ordered so much food that week that we had so much leftovers piling up in the fucking fridge in the hotel that we had to throw so much out. Oh my god,
that's so cute though.
We ordered DoorDash like every morning because I wanted to try. There's so much shit in Texas that's not up here. Like I never had Jack in the Box because it's not here, which is amazing by the way. I fucking love it so much. And there was so much other stuff there that I never tried. They had like a Shake Shack down there and In-N-Out, and I never tried any of that stuff. So I just kept ordering like every morning. I had never had IHOP because there's none in PA. There's just only ones in like New York and New Jersey. So
that's weird to me. That's weird to hear to me. All the other ones, I'm like, yeah, no, I get that. But say I've never had IHOP. That actually like.
Well, they had one in New York when I was growing up there, but apparently I went to it when I was too young, and when I was old enough to actually remember it, it closed down. And when I came up here, there is IHOPs in PA, but it's like an hour or two away, and I'm not gonna drive for an hour for fucking IHOP. So every morning we would just order a food I've never had before. So I think we had like chicken and waffles from IHOP, which were surprisingly good. And we had food from this place that we're going to get again when I go down there. It was called Tropical Smoothie Cafe. They have like $9. You know what it is?
There's one like 5 minutes from where I live.
It's so fucking awesome.
So what did you have from there that you really liked?
So it was, I can't remember the exact shake or smoothie I've had. It was like a white chocolate coconut strawberry banana thingy. It had a weird name. They all kind of have weird names, but I was like $8 for a smoothie. I guess it's Texas. It was a big fuck. I couldn't finish it. The smoothie is like 3 McDonald's larges. It's fucking crazy. And then I had, I think it was the Caribbean jerk chicken wrap with pineapple salsa. Dude, this shit was some of the best food I put in my face. Like, it was so fucking good. Did you like it?
Oh yeah, I love that place.
You go there, like, you've been there more than once then.
Yeah, like one of my favorite things from there, and it's the weirdest damn thing, is their peanut butter banana granola sandwich.
What?
It's literally just like peanut butter, sliced bananas, granola, and honey on a flatbread. It's so fucking good.
Speaking of peanuts, my girlfriend did have something with peanut in it. They put a peanut stuff in a lot, in a lot of their stuff. I can't remember the exact wrap she had, but it had peanut sauce in it. I'm like, that's weird. And I taste it. I'm like, this is really fucking good. But yeah, we're definitely going back to that place more than once when I go down there because, wow, like I never heard of it before. She had never heard of it before. I think it had just opened up around the time I went there. That's probably why. And I was just so blown away. Like, yeah, it was expensive, but like a good expensive. You know it's worth because all the ingredients are fresh. The smoothies are like actually being like all the stuff's being like picked, like all the fruits being picked, and they go to places to get it. It's very good stuff.
Did you say it had strawberry, pineapple, white chocolate, and coconut?
No, it was. Why you're looking at it?
I'm looking at the app right now.
I don't know. I'll have to go through my orders because I don't remember, but it definitely had white chocolate and coconut in it.
Okay, so the reason I'm asking is because the main one that they had that has white chocolate and coconut in it has pineapple and strawberry is called the Bahama Mama.
That's what it is.
Okay.
The Bahama Mama. I said it had a weird name.
It does have a weird name.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember. I don't remember the one she had, though. I don't know. I was just very focused on my food.
Yeah. Yeah.
That one's
my
favorite.
Yeah,
it's so fucking tasty. It's like it has a tartness to it. It's sweet. You can taste every flavor they put in it. Every flavor has its own distinct like it's just there. Like the white chocolate comes, and then the pineapple comes, and then you have the strawberry, and the banana and all that. It all happens like consecutively. It's like the fucking everlasting gobstopper, or like the whatever she no the gum that made her turn into a blueberry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the
where she tasted it like when she kept tasting it like one after the other. That's what it was. That's what it was like. Every sip was like I kept tasting each ingredient one after the other. You realize how hard it is to make a fucking smoothie that balanced where it doesn't just taste like a mush of fruit?
Yes.
Like,
because I've had other smoothie places that can't fucking do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Very, very good, and I can't wait to go back there. Anyway.
Yeah.
I think it
sounds like a good place to wrap it up.
Yeah, it's probably good. We're almost at 2 hours here.
We talked about food for quite a bit. So.
We did talk about food for quite a bit. I think that happens a lot, and it's probably going to happen more.
Okay, but with our respect, we had a good wide variety of topics.
There was
today.
a good there was a lot of good stuff that we talked about. We talked about YouTube. We talked about shitty customer service and shitty people making employees' lives hell, and good food and stuff like that. We'll talk about more stuff.
This is what a talk show should be.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the funny part is that this is the most I think you've ever really conversated like back and forth with me on a podcast. I think it's definitely different now than it was.
Probably.
Because I felt like, and now it actually feels like this is a podcast. Like we actually have, like the co-hosts are here. Like we're doing it. It's not just me trying to get you out of your shell anymore. You're already here.
Well, excuse me for having social anxiety there, bucko.
No, that's not the point. Like
I'm giving you shit.
I know you're giving me shit. That's why I have to explain myself, you fuck.
Well, you don't have to.
No, I don't, but it's me. No, I'm not gonna.
No, I'm not gonna. You're not worth my time.
No, my time. But yeah, back when we did this before, I knew that's what it was. It was me being the host, you as my co-host, but me trying to get you out of your shell, and most of the time it didn't work. But we made it work anyway. Mm-hmm. We always had good times. Most of the time. Some of them were meh. But now it just feels like the amount you contributed to this episode was just like it reinvigorated how this was definitely the right time to bring it back. And last time we did this was just, it wasn't the right time to do it.
Makes sense.
It feels like the right time.
It makes sense, mate.
It does.
Oh, that's a good segue right now to the next show. Yep.
Yep. Promise not to do this accent when she's here. So next
Or
week,
do,
everybody,
give a shit.
we have the first guest on the new version of the show, also the first guest that we had on our last version of the show, and the first guest that we had on season 2 of our last version of the show. We just keep bringing her back because she's a very, very kind, lighthearted, funny person. Next week, we're going to have on 8 p.m. EST, Lady Spookaria on the podcast. She's a very, very good friend of mine, very good friend of Raven's, and she's just really fun to talk to. So we're going to have her on, and it's going to be really fun, and I'm really excited about that. Hopefully nobody will force me to do a fucking Australian accent and not be able to do it again.
I think we were both talking about that was more like Cockney, like, this is Australian, innit? It doesn't work. Anyways.
But yeah, so next week, 8 p.m. EST, we are going to have Lady Spookaria on, so keep a lookout for that. I'm going to put out another scheduled thing so you guys can keep notified of when we're going to go live. I had some talk with my girlfriend during the podcast. Apparently, her live notification went up 15 minutes after we started. So that fucking sucks. So that's probably why some of the people weren't here at the beginning. They probably got the same thing. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. I missed doing this. I don't know about Raven.
No.
But
of course I fucking missed it. Come on now.
I miss doing this because this is like an excuse. More than anything, it's an excuse to talk to my best friend for over an hour. So thank you guys so much for giving me and Raven the chance to come back and and actually be here and talking to us and enjoying the podcast with us. Because if no one showed up, whatever, at least I got to talk to my best friend. But you guys actually showed up, and I really appreciate that. So thank you guys,
honestly,
so much for tuning in. This is going up hopefully tonight on all podcast platforms. Once I put it out there, I just have to edit it down a bit. If not, it will go up earlier tomorrow. It depends because I do have to record after this. So thank you so much for tuning in. This is TDN. That's As the Raven Dreams. It's the DarkNest podcast, and we'll see you next week at 8 p.m. EST with Lady Spookaria on the DarkNest podcast.